Hello, hello. Bl'Artagnan here with Dimensions End Transcendence Tier 7. Reckoning. This is the big one, boys, or allegedly. Don't know how big it actually is going to be in practice. This was an interesting fight. And by interesting, I mean a little bit disappointing, you could say. Not super threatening. That said, there were some interesting ideas that I'll talk about. There was some stuff they clearly tried to make work, which I appreciate and respect. In practice, though, this fight really is just seriously lacking in the threat department. So what do we got going on here? We have a team of Vivi, Y'shtola, and Prompto. Before we get too deep into it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, ring that notification bell, and leave a comment down below letting me know your thoughts on the fight. I'd like to hear from you. Give me what you have to say about these here zombie imps, I think. I don't know. They look like they're like kind of desiccated corpses or something. They're not looking at me, and I don't know. But anyway, so the orb is actually it's an interesting orb, I'd say. It's burst heal. You want to use an ability that heals the party. So not just passive health regen. It has to be like a burst heal, which is why Y'shtola's here. Also why we brought Lillicet and Lena calls, just to kind of give us some extra breathing room there. As you can see, it disappears at 80%. The other thing about the orb that's interesting, though, is that it goes -2 on player turns, +2 on boss turns. So that's kind of an interesting little way to, change up the tempo of things. You don't really want to be turn sealing. You don't want to bring like a Vayne or a Zell or a Lightning or whatnot, because they'll just eat the orb, and the orb will go away. The only other really interesting thing about this fight is this defensive aura stance they go into, where they just jack up their defense stat real high, trying to sell Locke's defense ignore. I figured I'd bring Prompto and Vivi, who have a decent amount of defense ignore in their kits, along with Y'shtola, who has a bunch of battery. I see, I let Prompto's evasion fall off. That would be a problem in most fights, but this fight, it is not a problem, because the only HP attack these guys actually do is just if they have a bunch of Brave, then they do an HP attack. All their attacks otherwise are just straight Brave attacks. So you can see here, they're dropping that framed Brave damage down debuff, which is a nifty debuff in a vacuum, but it's kind of useless here because you just kill them anyway. I guess it's supposed to play into this whole defense ignore theme. But anyway, the thing with that aura is it ticks down. There's not a counter for it, but it goes away after 20 they have 3 conditions that have to be met, and any, I guess, combination of 20 instances of you ignoring their defense, burst healing, or letting them have a turn. Any 3 of those things can count up that 20 count instance. Granted, it comes back at 50%, and you're probably gonna honestly put them below 50% before it goes away kind of naturally, so you don't really find that out if you don't read the tooltip. Oh, well, okay. I will admit, spoilers, in the latter half of the fight, it goes away naturally, and so that's kind of cool, I guess, but really just... anyway, kind of unimpressive, uninspiring. So you see here, we're basically, I'm going to not use Y'shtola's EX here, going to wait until both orbs are up, because the burst heals kind of refill the orb quite a bit, because it's, I think, +2 or +3 per ally healed, so you want to use that to kind of refresh the orb. The only way I could see you really dying in this fight is if you specifically don't bring a really repeatable burst healer and forget to manage your turn count, and I don't know, you spam 2 AAs in a row or something and put yourself in a bad spot. You can kill yourself in this fight, as with any fight with the Lufenia orb, if you're not paying attention and respecting the orb, but this is not a hard orb to respect. Normally, I'd have played a burst music, a different music when we went to the burst phase to kind of, add to the hype, I guess. But as I mentioned in my other video, I'm still kind of on the fence about what to use for Y'shtola. I tested something out in my Crucibles video, so you can go check that out if you want to hear what I had in mind for there. I'm not completely sure if I want to go that route, though. So I decided, you know what, screw it, we're just going to play music over it. Once again, a testament to how incredibly challenging and thought-provoking this fight is. I'm once again talking about the music I use in burst phases, so that's cool, I guess. Kind of sad that because of the Rain's Call happening during them having that defense, I lost a bunch of damage, I think, but I think it kind of worked out okay. I wonder if launches count as damage ignore, or defense ignore. That'd be pretty cool, because maybe that's why that guy's thing went away? I don't know. You don't really need to pay attention to the mechanics in this fight, so long as you respect the orb, because the bosses themselves don't really do anything. They just kind of throw this debuff on you and are tanky if you don't bring a team that accounts for them jacking up the defense. But, I mean, we have so many ways of dealing with defense these days, it's kind of whatever. Anyway, let's go ahead and reapply this. You'll see I'm trying to break them in the off-turn order, so to speak, so that they take more turns, so that the orb gets ticked up more. I was going to Pulse of Life here, and then I decided, you know what, we have one more turn of Rain's Call. Let's take advantage of that real quick. Get a couple of cheeky launches in here. Boom, boom. That's pretty nice. Prompto battering the party. Pretty nice with Y'shtola on the field. Pretty good. Oh, and their defense is up again. Well, that's a fine howdy-do. I guess because of the... Maybe because they went below 30%? I'm not really sure. I don't know. You can read the mechanics if you want to really understand it. But if you bring a halfway decent team with a burst healer on it and a damage dealer, you'll probably stomp it. Maybe you need some defense ignore. We have plenty of ways to do that. Oh, I guess I forgot to mention a few other things. One, there's a passive HP poison the entire fight. That's just something that under most circumstances would be something to worry about and care about, but I completely forgot about it because they're telling you to heal the whole time and they're not actually attacking us, so whatever. Secondarily, I think the bosses do have an attack where they lower your... They count your own buffs down by 4 turns, which is like a pseudo dispel when it hits, but I think it only happens if one of your party members is below 30% health on their turn. That's actually part of why it's good to just be spamming a healer the whole time, but as you can see here, it really not a difficult condition to maintain, and so you just I don't know. Trying to talk over this and give you something to chew over. Oh, and I didn't Star Shell, or not Star Shell, I didn't get Prompto's thingamabob to trigger. Anyway, there we go. We can just dodge their attacks because nothing matters. This is all pointless. You got to see their HP attack. Isn't that nifty? Isn't that a nifty thing, guys, that you got to see the HP attack that they do in this fight? I think it's a pretty nifty thing. We're going to go ahead real quick, burst heal, put the orb up. Why not? Free damage. And on top of that, hey, the defense is crumbled. That's pretty cool. I guess that also counted as defense ignore? Or no, maybe the heal. I don't know. Whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Really just nothing matters. Nothing matters anymore, guys. Anniversary celebration's over. The fights are boring again. We're in garbage time as we've been saying, and now it truly is the darkest timeline. Well, let's end here with a bazooka. That's an RPG, the appropriate way to take this out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I got to press buttons and see explosions, so that's kind of cool. It wasn't a super engaging fight, but it happened. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Adios.